Please, no code names. Call me Jean.
What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, back at it again with a Marvel Heroes Omega video. This time I'll be giving you something I've been wanting to give you guys for a good while, but couldn't because I just didn't have enough experience with the other characters yet. This video is my top 5 favorite, or my top 5 melee fighters, basically my favorite melee fighters. This is not based off of popular votes, and it's not based off of who's the strongest characters. This is mainly just based off of who I had the most fun playing as from levels 1 to 60 and going through Cosmic and Omega difficulty with. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so starting from number 5 is going to be Iron Fist. I've had Iron Fist for a long time, and I've struggled playing him a few times here and there, but after learning how to play him and getting used to his abilities and his rotations, he actually became one of the most absolute beast characters, at least in my opinion. Sure, he may not be the strongest character in the roster, but he's one of the most fast fighting characters, and also a technical fighter, meaning you have to kind of know how to use his build, his rotations, his stances, openers, and whatnot. But you know, that's what made him a fun character, playing him as a technical fighter. Number 4 is Elektra. Elektra is an elite killer. Literally, she can one-shot yellow and blue bar enemies with her mark ability. So Elektra is also one of the top tier characters in the game, not just for being a boss killer, or not necessarily a boss killer or elite killer, but her survivability and her damage output are also really good. Getting from 1 to 60 was really quick, actually. It didn't really take too much time. Mainly because she's able to just burn through the whole thing really fast. But not just getting her levels up, but also getting her through her Cosmic and Omega trials were actually really easy. Elektra is also one of the easiest classes to play as, which can also make her one of the most fun classes to play. So my number 3 would have to go with Daredevil. So here's why I chose the Blind Warrior. He's an underdog, and I generally love underdog characters. Not only is he an underdog, but he's an underrated character. He can dish out a ton of damage and is a very mobile character to play as. Yeah, his Cosmic Trials was a bit rough, a bit hard to do, but once you get his builds and whatnot correct, and once you learn how to play him, he kind of gets easier to play. And then his Omega Trials was also pretty difficult. I did get lucky getting a Remy's Raiment piece, which definitely helped him, and that right there, that piece definitely is what pushed him to being one of my top favorite characters to play as, because before he wasn't necessarily one of my most favorites, but just that is what got him bumped up to my top 5. Especially so yeah, so once you get his gear and everything set up, you'll probably have the time of your life playing Daredevil. So number 2, this one belongs to Psylocke. Yes, Psylocke is one of my main characters and my go-to character to play as, but this doesn't necessarily make her my number 1 melee fighter, or the one that I enjoy playing the most. That's why she takes number 2, because she is still one of my top, my top characters to play as. She is one of the most agile and one of the quickest melee fighters on the roster sheet for console. Psylocke is also the best with her melee abilities. Although she has a few ranged abilities, she isn't going to really excel in her ranged build versus her melee build. So her melee build, like I said, is going to be the better route for her. Although you could still go with a range build if you want to kind of play it a little more safe. So the good thing about Psylocke is she doesn't need to make use of her resources, because her resources is her psionic barrier, which protects her. It basically replaces her health. But that also means she has all her abilities are pretty much cooldowns except for a couple of them. So she doesn't have to worry about resources, but she can spam abilities and use her cooldown abilities. which is another reason why I generally enjoy playing her the most. Now we got some honorable mentions. We've got Spider-Man, aka also known as Spider-Tank. Now we've got She-Hulk. And then we've got Angela. And last we've got Mr. Incredible Hulk. Now for number 1, this belongs to the one and only Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler took the cake for this one because he is all melee and has nothing but high damage and movement, which to me makes the character extremely fun to play as. So being able to move around the map and, you know, just fighting your enemies, teleporting around, and or you can use a sword build doing high amounts of single target damage, just hitting in the millions consistently, which, you know, seeing high numbers is fun to me as well. Sure, leveling him up was a bit of a pain because of resources, but that is really, it's pretty easy to overcome when you hit level 60. Once you hit level 60, you get through your Omega trials. All you have to do is get one piece of Mark of Iron Fist and you're pretty much set to go. You won't have to worry about your resources ever again. And yeah. So this was my top 5 melee fighters for Marvel Heroes Omega. Make sure you're on the lookout for my top 5 ranged and my top 5 hybrid fighters. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and let me know who your top 5 characters are as well. Peace.